If you want to do any form of pit pushing with a Dust Devil build, then this is what you want to be running, my man. I went in with no Ubers and brought the build to pit 129 until my gear told me to go play the Elden Ring DLC instead. Not only that, this is the final and ultimate version of the Dust Devils. And in the end of this video, I'll do something completely unethical. And while all of them Ubers are absolutely fucking bonkers for this build, they're by no means needed. The ideal farming range for this build is somewhere in the 110s, and well, it's pretty goddamn fun. Out of all the different Barb builds, this one is my favorite, and is therefore granted the Paragaming stamp of approval. Alright, so if you're new to the channel, let me welcome you. And let's talk about how the build works. Firstly, it's a gushing wounds and berserk ripping build as per usual, meaning that all of that yummy crit damage that we are stacking up is converted into bleed damage, unleashed via these two passives. We are, however, focusing more on vulnerable damage rather than crit damage in this setup, seeing as we are not using the Granddaddy in this non-Uber version. The build is still a Dust Devil setup, however, where the devilish aspect is by far the most important aspect to blast out those tornadoes with ease. In the mid-season patch, this build also got a substantial buff in that the slaking aspect went from being fucking dog shit to absolutely massive. Whenever we are using this aspect, our double swing just keeps generating insane amounts of fury for our devilish aspect. Alright, that sounds pretty cool and all, but if you're a Paragaming enjoyer, then you've obviously seen my Whirlwind build. So which one is best? Well, damn, my man, Whirlwind for speed and double swing for push is what I typically recommend. This build is also superior when you have trash gear, seeing as double swing is an actual skill, and Whirlwind is just a way to spawn tornadoes. But they're both absolutely godly. Okay, I think it's time to check out my gear and aspects now. Starting off with the helmet, you're looking for this one, but with cooldown reduction instead. The Tusk Helm of Yoritz is also decent for this build, but I wouldn't use it unless you've spent your credit card for a 4GA. For aspect, you're gonna smack on the Iron Blood aspect. Now, here is also something that you should do when rocking double swing that you can't abuse in Whirlwind. Instead of crowd control duration, you should be rolling for chance to stun. This is due to enhanced double swing, generating 25 fury each time it hits a stunned enemy, which is pretty bonkers. And next up is the chest. Not only a way to cover up your fat old belly, I mean your ripped six-pack, but also a way to gain some nice stats. Imposing presence is the most important here, and you should look to replace my lightning resistance with all resistance to get capped. But I CBA picking flowers, so whatever. Undying aspect is also massive, and is your main source of healing in this build. Next up are the gloves. To temper crit here, you will need a rogue ult. Fortunately though, this tempering manual should drop just as you hit World Tier 4. Crit chance is by far the most important stat, so try to masterwork that shit and slap on the Fierce Winds aspect. You then have some boner protection. These ones are near perfect. One armor roll is enough to get yourself capped, so make sure to grab that. I'm also rocking the Concussive Strikes aspect for easy stagger and damage bonus, and also due to there not existing any decent defensive option here. After that, not much to say here. Yen's Blessing are just fucking bonkers for Dust Devils, man. Try to get a greater affix on the damage reduction and masterwork that shit. Your defensives will thank you. And finally, the good stuff, the weapons. There are a multitude of ways to cap out Dust Devil size and chance to cast twice when not rocking the Granddaddy. One of each on the two-handers is ideal, and then the others on the one-handers. You then want the Berserk ripping along with Devilish aspect on the two-handers, along with the accelerating aspect and elements on the one-handers. For weapons, I also have one-handed swords along with a pole arm, because that's insanely badass, and for more rupture damage. Alright, and then we have my nutsack, my jewelry. This one is near perfect, except that I bricked it and rolled guttural yell instead of imposing presence. For speedrunning, however, I try to replace the crit damage with movement speed to become fast as fuckboy. I'm also using Windlash's aspect here for some extra damage. And finally, the rings. You're looking to grab damage while berserking on your rings only, as that is enough to get yourself capped for the Blood Rage board in the Paragons. Other than that, crit chance is goated as fuck, and you're looking to grab one chance to make enemies vulnerable, as that is enough to keep vulnerable up permanently. For aspects, you should be using Bold Chieftains and Slaking Aspect. The Slaking Aspect is just massive, constantly generating fury. And when you're using Bold Chieftains along with Yen's Blessing, well then you have yourself permanent shout-up time. And that's pretty damn strong. Well damn son, you managed to get this far. You must be a pretty awesome guy. Greetings. What do you say about checking out some weapon ArseAnal then? Hell yeah. I'm setting Rupture to the polearm for Big Damn and Double Swing. Well, not much to choose from there, El Mao. And the weapon expertise is Two-Handed Axe for the 10% Big Damn. Well damn, just about time we got done with this, because it's hecking skill tree o'clock. Starting off, we drop a wet fart on the basic skills and max out Double Swing along with Enhanced and Furious Double Swing for permanent berserking. For some additional help with the vulnerable, we also have Pressure Point here. Next we go to the defensive skills, grab all of them yummy stuff here, and head on over to the brawling skills. We obviously want Warcry for the Big Damn and all of the passives. Raid Leader is also insanely good, as I've tested this build a bunch, and having this one along with the Undying Aspect simply made me an immortal god. In the Weapon Mastery skills, we want as many passives as possible for Big Damn, as well as Rupture. We are using this one for the AoE, as well as the 40% attack speed that it generates, which is simply massive. We then go to the ultimate skills, pick up a bit of attack speed, and grab Wrath of the Berserker. With the attack speed in this build, we stack up this one in just a few seconds, which is insanely good. And finally, the key passive. We obviously want the Gushing Wounds because of two reasons. First being, well, I said we would grab it. And second being, it's fucking bonkers. It's the only reason this build is even any good, seeing as the option to grab Unconstrained is basically a loss of 30 pit tiers or something LMAO. Oof, that was a lot. What do you say we take a short break and sub to the channel, and perhaps even become a Legend Para gaming member? Yeah, I definitely think you should do that, considering you get to become a literal Paragaming Gigachad. And hey, you may even find my battle tag somewhere in there so you can send me a bunch of inappropriate jokes. Enough of the sellout. Let's check out my amazing Paragon board now. Starting off with the Wrath Glyph for the crit per usual, we then go to pick up Warbringer along with the Ambidextrous Glyph for additional damage and resistances. The Hemorrhage node is right here, and we grab that one last. We then go to the Blood Rage node, cap that shit out, and socket Exploit. After that, we want to go to the Decimator board. As Rupture always overpowers, this one now grants us a permanent 20% Big Damn. I'm also socketing Twister here for the additive damage. Hopefully, Blizz gets the massive thumb out of their ass soon and fix the multiplicative bonus as well. And after that, we go to the Carnage board, where we have Marshall. I must have to reset Rupture with ease, and also absolutely bonkers, as we can boost the damage reduction and damage while berserking at the same time. Well, damn, will you look at that. Paragons complete. What do you say we go get hecking good now? Hell yeah, my man, let's do it. The build is simple yet beautiful. It also has the added benefit of not giving you carpal tunnel syndrome, unlike Whirlwind. The only thing you need to keep track of is the Rupture, as you'll always want to use it whenever your attack speed drops. You'll see this easily as well. You'll start attacking slowly. All of the other buttons should be used whenever they're up. You'll also be benefiting greatly if you stack enemies up, as you can actually aim your tornadoes with this build, seeing as they don't instantly fuck off to Uganda. So get those enemies in line and blast them down. And that, my friends, is all for this build. But first, I promise to show you guys something unethical. And it's indeed time for that, because I'm done with the Dust Devils now. That's goddamn right, it's time to do Bash.